My name is Samarth Rao and I represent a US-based multinational company called MyVideoTalk, whose innovative products would help you reach out more effectively to all your target audience. It would help you in terms of branding, advertising, and reaching out to the larger public. In the next 5 minutes, we would like to share with you how effectively your profits could be redefined, how your profits could soar rocket high, and your expenses, especially on advertising, would reduce in a very big way. Now, in order to do that, let's begin with the basics of any business. What does profits mean to you? In simple layman term, it is turnover minus expense. What does higher profits mean to you? Obviously, increase in turnover, or maybe a reduction in expenses, or preferably both, right? Now, expenses equals your rent, your salaries that you have to pay to your staff, and the advertising expenses. Now, in fact, these are the major expenses that I have taken into account. When ad expenses reduces, it is a significant expense in your overall expenses, I'm sure. Your total expense also reduces. Am I right? Now, what does this mean? This means that even if your turnover doesn't change, if your sales do not change, a reduced expense would straight away mean additional profits. Now, with, let us say, the kind of products that we are trying to share with you going ahead, you would get a more innovative branding, more effective reach, and your message could be conveyed in a more better way to your customers, your consumers, your target audience. That would help you in turn to increase your turnover as well. Now, even if your expense remains the same, and if you have a higher turnover, that also means additional profit, more profit to you. There was a survey that was conducted for different kind of ad media that is being used by most of the small and medium enterprises. If you have to distribute around 10,000 brochures, you spend around 10,000 rupees, which is typically 1 rupee per brochure. The average response that was seen was around 30 calls were received, out of which 3 to 4 got converted, because again the response type was more relevant, because the brochure explained to them what the content or what the message that you wanted to convey about your service or product. But there were challenges that most of this went into the dustbin, or many a times the people who were distributed it in duplicates inside those newspapers. Similarly, in terms of scroll ads, costing was around 6,000, reach of audience was around 6,000 around that area. 45 calls received, but most of them, if you see here, were irrelevant calls. Now, okay, let me get back to that slide here. But then, because of those irrelevant calls, you could get only 2 to 3 conversions. Well, the disadvantage or the challenge that you would face is that audiences must be available when your ad is being scrolled in front of the television. Now, paper ads or classifieds would come at around 3,500 a day, or per impact, which would reach, in the case of, let's say, Times of India and all, would reach around 3 lakh plus people in a day. Again, the calls would be more irrelevant, because in those 3-4 lines you would not be in a position to convey the total message of your product or service. Average around 30 calls received, and conversion was 1 to 2. Only one day, that was the challenge that was being faced by any of the newspaper ads. Anyone misses reading it on that day, you lose the customer. Similarly, when you go into the 4th category of paper ads in color, let's say a A5 sized color ad would cost you nothing less than 2 lakh a day. Now that means around average calls that were received because of this 3 lakh distribution was around 70, helping around 7 to 8 conversions. But to get 7 to 8 conversions because of the relevant calls from a detailed color ad, you had to spend around 2 lakh per impression per day. Again, the disadvantage was one day. Anyone misses reading that day, you lose out big time. Then you have the SMS campaigns, wherein it was seen that even by spending around 2,000, you could reach out to around 50,000 people. But then, very, very irrelevant calls. 10, 15 were the kind of response that you got, and 1 to 2 was the conversion. Again, here you have a challenge of DND registered, do not call registry, registered numbers cannot be called, and you have that basically limits your reach, and even the delivery issues are a big challenge. When you actually look at all this, the kind of solution that we're trying to provide to you today, my Video Talk Studio products are going to be a very, very effective solution in terms of increasing your turnover by reaching out in a very, very effective way, by better branding for your product and services, and by reducing your advertisement expenses. Effectively, this simply means that your profits are going to be super high. Now, what are the advantages? If I just put in one small summary, we have a very, very low expense that you're going to find now when going ahead. When you see the product, hardly of the order of around 1500 rupees per month. This would give you a television quality video advertising of your business. It could be a small and medium enterprise, it could be a service, it could be you could have a consultancy of your own, it could be a product that you are trying to promote, anything and everything. At such a low cost, you could have a television quality video advertising reaching out to your target audience. More importantly, you could reach not less than 500 plus prospects on a daily basis. Very, very important point here to note that you would reach your target audience right at their convenience when they can watch, meaning in their inbox. Whenever they can open their email, they are going to see your video, or they're going to see the video advertisement of your product or business. This basically helps a better reach and a better branding for your product and service, which simply means win-win. Add to all that, you could have a very, very distinguished advantage over your competition, wherein you could even share your live testimonials of all your satisfied clients and help your new prospects to convert. Now, we all know that testimonials help get a sale converted, help convey the message that you want to convey in a more effective way with examples, with live examples. So you can use this in order to share all those live testimonials of your satisfied clients, and that would help you convert more new prospects. Now, all this simply means higher turnover, lower ad expenses. Simply put, super high profits. So, all the best. Go ahead, watch and understand the effectiveness of the product, and wish you all super high profits.